Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the forever home of the International Magnet School. My name is Sandy Cruz Serrano, and every other day I serve as the Chief Operating Officer for the Capital Region Education Council. But today, I have the privilege of being your MC. I'm honored to be here in this beautiful, beautiful school. Let me assure you that building a school is not for the weak of heart. This work takes vision, commitment, and a great, great team. This wonderful team goes beyond the walls and halls of CREC. It encompasses architects and engineers, construction managers and construction workers, the good people of South Windsor who opened their town to receive it, and the International Magnet School families, faculty, and students. This building is no ordinary building. It was dreamed of, designed, and built with a great deal of passion. It was built so that when the children, families, teachers, and South Windsor residents walk through these doors, they get the message that this is an important place for very important people. And so that we can keep this program moving, I'm going to ask our Executive Director, Dr. Bruce Douglas, to come forward and say a few words and introduce some very special people. Dr. Douglas has provided the leadership and vision for this school, and without that vision and leadership, we wouldn't be here today. So please welcome Dr. Bruce Douglas.
So I want to welcome you all here today. This is a very special day, and I don't know for sure if I have the words, the language, because it's a very emotional day. And there's so many people and so many great things that have gone on in the development of this school that I don't have the time to thank every one of you for your dedication and devotion. But if I could, I'd like our teachers, our students, and our parents to stand up, if you would, please. Yeah. Welcome to your school. Welcome to your school. This is a day that a vision has been completed. There's still more to go that's going to happen in this school because President of the United States is going to come from this school. We're going to have doctors coming from this school. We're going to have great parents who come from this school. We're going to have a blended generation that comes from this school. This school is going to realize what America is all about, and that's why this school was created. I just want to tell you a little story about where this school came from. In 2008, in the spring of 2008, in April, the state of Connecticut had come to a settlement with the chef plaintiffs, okay, about the need to continue the effort to provide justice under the Connecticut State Supreme Court for equal opportunities for all children. And the State Department of Education met with me and they said, we need you to start up 4 schools in September. This was in April, right? And so I said we would do that. But at that time, we didn't know what kind of schools they were going to be, how many children were going to be in the schools. And we knew we had a big job ahead of us because we had to find the place where the schools were going to be located. We had to hire the teachers for the schools. We had to hire the principals for the schools. We had to create the curriculum and instructional process for the schools. We had to develop the bus routes for the schools. And there was no file cabinet that you could open up and say, this is how we did it last year. Yeah? This is what it looked like last time. And I remember when I came back to CREC and I talked to our administrators, they looked at me and they said, what have you gotten us into this time? But one of our administrators spoke up and said, it doesn't matter. Failure is not an option. That was Denise Gallucci, okay, our superintendent of schools at that time. Right? And so we got to work. And we looked into each other's eyes and we knew that failure would not be an option. Everyone in that room was committed to getting this done. Right? And so from 2008 until now, I know that many of our teachers and our students and our parents have moved from one location to another, to another, to another. Okay? And our principal, Cindy Riggling, has been on this trail the entire time. And it's required a lot of commitment and intense commitment and dedication on the part of all of you, but we finally arrived to this wonderful school. Now, the rest is up to you, and we will stand beside you and help you achieve great things. It's so fitting that we should be doing this during the week of Martin Luther King's birthday, right? January 15th. And this is, I believe, a 3-day weekend, but it's celebrating the great work of Martin Luther King, a religious leader, an American religious leader, first and foremost. He talked about goodness, and he talked about what we should all be doing. Okay? And this is furthering that mission. I also want to compliment Beth Bai. Beth Bai, who's the state senator now, was a CREC employee at that time. And I remember in the midst of anxiety in September, when we were just a few weeks from opening up the school, all of our schools at that time, and we were discussing whether we were going to meet the deadlines, whether everything was going to be done. People were exhausted. There were no vacations that summer. There were no vacations that year. And so I could not show self-doubt in front of our leaders, but at night around 2:30 in the morning, I was waking up, as you all know, many of you have been in that spot, wondering what have you gotten yourself into and could it be accomplished? And Beth gave me this piece of lead here, and it said, what would you attempt to do if you knew you could not fail? And that's what we had set ourselves out. We said that we could not fail, and we'll attempt this. And she wrote on the back, Bruce, we've built a team that's absolutely unbelievable. Failure is not in our lexicon. Okay? Thank you for giving me a place on this team. And so we opened up those schools. And this is the fruition of that effort. So moving forward, I want us all to understand that this school was created as a result of the Sheff court decision over 20 years ago. Right? And at that time, it was found that in the city of Hartford, children were not receiving their full entitlement according to the Supreme Court of the state, the Constitution of the state of Connecticut, right, for an equal opportunity to a high-quality education. And we're still struggling to do that. Recently, there was an article in the Mirror that said, here we are 15 years later, and students are still not succeeding in some schools. Right? We have to correct that situation. Right? This school sends a message, right, to everyone who comes to this school and everyone who drives by this school that children are the most highly valued entities in our society. Okay? This school, after a church of worship, should be the most significant place in a society. It sends a message about the values of the state of Connecticut, who funded this school, who paid for this school, and the legislators here who supported our efforts in doing this. Right? This school sends a message that everyone who enters this door is highly valued and appreciated. Our children, our teachers, our parents. I also want to thank especially the town of South Windsor. You know, as we go through this Sheff process, okay, as we go through this process of creating the magnet schools and the open choice program, there are a lot of communities that endorse what we're doing, and there's some communities that struggle what we're doing. But I just want to say to you that there's a lot of assistance that has come our way. Conversely, there's been a lot of repressed racism that still exists, and we have to overcome that. We have to remember that that's still there, right? And very refined excuses are given, okay, as to why things can't be done. Okay? And they mask, you know, the true reasons of why it's not going to be done. We here today have to continue on this battle, okay, until not only the children in Hartford, okay, have the full opportunity for an outstanding education, but the children in New Britain, the children in Manchester, the children in Bridgeport, okay, the children in New Haven, all of the children in Connecticut. A state like Connecticut cannot tolerate an achievement gap. Okay? That's reprehensible to everything that this state stands for and what we as Americans stand for. Okay? And that's not the future of our country. So, moving forward, I need to recognize some individuals who've done an outstanding job in putting this together. First of all, I want to recognize the man whose shoulders I stand on, John Allison, who's here with us today, the founder of the Capital Region Education Center. John set the course. I also want to recognize again the town of South Windsor. The town of South Windsor embraced us. When we proposed bringing the school to this town, there was no resistance on the part of the superintendent of schools, no resistance on the part of the town. We were not seen as competitors. We were not seen as a JCPenney's or a Target store moving in. We were seen as a school. Okay, that was going to provide high-quality education, commensurate with the kind of education that children get in South Windsor. And we were embraced, and for that, I very, very much appreciate that. I want to recognize Matt Golligan, okay, Michelle Lippy, okay, Elizabeth Warren from South Windsor Inland and Wetlands, Ray Favreau from South Windsor Parks and Recreation, Elizabeth Pendleton from the South Windsor Town Council, and the South Windsor Police Department. Okay. South Windsor Police Department was very important on the first day of school. They checked out all of our systems. They made sure that the arrival of the school buses and the drop-offs were safe. That was something that we were very, very concerned about. South Windsor Police Department was here before we were here that morning. So I want to thank you so much for the great work that you've done. Thank you. Much appreciated. I also want to recognize the Shepherd family. The Shepherd family, whose property this school was built on, approached us and dealt with us in a most fair way and worked very hard with us in order to get our plan through planning and zoning, and I want to thank that family. Are there members of the Shepherd family here today? Okay. They very, very, very much embraced us, and I want to thank you all so much. There's a colleague of mine, a warrior, a friend of mine who may or may not be here today, but she told me she was going to come. Her name is Martha Stone. Martha Stone is one of the lead attorneys in the Sheff case, and without her, much of this would not have been accomplished. Martha Stone and Elizabeth Sheff. So we need to recognize them and congratulate them for their good work also. So there's a big cost to this school. It's not just in terms of money, but it's in terms of the struggle that we needed to go through in order to arrive at this place today. That cost was far more immense than the amount of money that went into the construction of this school. And we had several allies, numerous allies in helping us through that effort. And two of those allies are with us here today, Senator Gary Lobo and Representative Tim Larson, both from the Connecticut General Assembly, and who were there beside us the entire way. Thank you so much. Also, through construction services, our project manager, David Fresk, and John Mena, the director of CREC School Construction Services, we owe you a debt of gratitude. Don Walsh, the deputy executive director for finance and operation, who's in charge of site acquisition for CREC, and certainly Sandy Cruz Serrano, our chief operating officer, and her team, our food services team, our transportation team, Mason Thrall, Douglas Henley, Jeff Sidewater, Chris Nolan, Nikisha Strickland, all great people whose names will not be placed on a plaque in this school, who work tirelessly for this wonderful building. And Dina, Crowell, our superintendent of schools, and her staff, Tim Sullivan, the assistant superintendent of schools for operations and facilities. So I want to thank them. I also want to recognize a good friend of mine, a mentor. When I first became superintendent of schools, Joe Townsley. I don't know if he's here, but he told me he was going to be here. Joe Townsley is here with us today. When I became a superintendent of schools, Joe Townsley was the superintendent of schools in Simsbury, mentored me, kept me out of a lot of trouble, and helped me cause a lot of trouble also, I might add. And Joe, after he retired from Simsbury, came over to CREC, and he was the gentleman who developed the operations plans for almost all of our magnet schools. And Joe, I can't thank you enough for the great work that you've done. All right. I also want to thank Sarah Ellsworth, our Director of Data Analysis, and Doug Casey, and David Wu, Frank Para, and the entire team that put all the technology into this school. The technology is working. In fact, one of the amazing things about CREC is that in most places people complain about the technology. At CREC, in many cases, we don't even know we have the technology. It's so natural to us that we don't have problems with it, and they do a superb job. I want to recognize our Department of Communications, Aura Alvarado, Julia Weiner, Kelly McLaughlin, who are here with us today, who put this event on for us. They've done a superb job. And then I also want to recognize the owners and the staff of Perkins Eastman Architects, BVH Integrated Services, the engineers, Cutter Enterprises, the construction managers, DH Bolton, the equity program consultants, Megson, Hagel, and Friends, the surveyors, and ORM, the Move Management Company, especially the Move Management Company. I know what a disaster that was. If you see how teachers hoard, you cannot imagine, okay, what a Move company has to do and what a great job they've done. And then I also want to recognize the state of Connecticut and the General Assembly. Okay? The construction of this school begins and ends in the Connecticut General Assembly. They're the ones who appropriate the money for this to happen. Okay, and again, I can't thank Gary Lobo and Tim Larson for your support and the efforts that you've put forth in making this school happen. And I also want to thank the Connecticut State Department of Education for their support in helping us develop this school. So, this is a great place. Great things are going to happen. And remember this, that we have to continue on with this battle, okay? It is not over. And if we are not successful, it will not be because of the clamor of the opposition. It will be because of the silence of our friends. Remember, courage is the first virtue of leadership. Thank you so much. Good. So I've just been given the honor to introduce a good friend of mine, Senator Gary Lobo. Gary, if you'd like to come up.
It's great to be here today. This is really an honor for me, as it is to be the senator from the 3rd Senate District. And my home of many years is right down the street in East Hartford, right off of Long Hill Drive, right down the street from Tim Larson. So thank you for the opportunity to speak. Bruce, and I'll be brief. I'm sure everybody will appreciate that. Yeah, there's no bets. My specialty when I was a teacher for almost for 40 years, and I taught history. It seems like kind of a boring topic nowadays when everyone wants to study to be an entrepreneur, or just yesterday or a couple of days ago, how to do 3D printing, which is taking place right here in South Windsor, or what hot new smartphone app teenagers will pay for. So what is history anyway? It's a study of people and the cause and effect of their decisions and actions, and how that shaped the world that we live in today. Notice I said the world, not South Windsor, not our state, not even America, the world. Because technology that I poked fun at just a few seconds ago is what's driving us closer and closer together. If there's a democracy protest on the other side of the world, it affects us here at home immediately. Stories of human rights violations, NASA spying or NSA spying, typhoons and tsunamis immediately resonate with us, no matter where on the planet they occur. And from a financial standpoint, we are an interconnected global economy with billions of dollars that are coming and going every single day. It all matters now more than ever because we are global citizens. And we stand here today to cut the ribbon for a new school for global citizenship. In that regard, You, and particularly all of you young students, are the vanguard of a new way of thinking on a global level. By the way, vanguard means like kind of the leaders, so you guys are the leaders. When I was 12 years old, I didn't grow up in this area, but when I was 12 years old, the population of South Windsor was 9,400. 57 of those residents were African American, 0.6%. East Hartford, my hometown, where I spent pretty much the last 40 years, had 44,000 people and 124 were African American, 1/3 of 1%. In 1960, Connecticut had 2.5 million residents. 107,000 were of African American descent, another 4,000 were non-white, mostly Asian Americans. These figures are all from the 1960 census. So let's fast forward to the present day Connecticut. We picked up another 1 million residents. More than 11% of our population is African American, more than 4% Asian. Connecticut is ranked 14th of the 50 states in our percentage of population that is foreign-born. 1/3 of all foreign-born residents now living in Connecticut have settled here since the year 2000. So there's a lot of change going on. Where are people coming from? Jamaica, Mexico, Poland, India, Canada, Lobo, China, the Philippines, Vietnam, Ghana, from around the globe. We are a global state and a global nation. And this has all happened in my lifetime. What will happen in these students' lifetime, I don't know. But we know it's a global world. And we know that the world will continue getting smaller and smaller, and technology will bind us closer and closer together. I wish you the best. I know you've got a great life as students at the School for Global Citizenship, and I know you have a great staff and some great teachers, including my daughter, Kara Lobo. Kara, so the best to everybody and the best to CREC, and congratulations. This is a fantastic facility. You guys are so lucky to be here. Thank you very much.
Before I introduce our next guest, I just want everyone here to recognize that the children in this room right now, okay, have been in school all day and how well they're behaving. So some of the adults in the back. So if the adults in the back of the room would try to behave a little better, we'd appreciate that, all right? All right, good. Now I'd like to introduce Representative Tim Larson, a good friend of mine. His brother's a good friend of mine. He comes from a great town, and he's a strong supporter of this school. Tim, thank you.
Thank you all very much for this great opportunity. This is wonderful, and welcome to the neighborhood. This is the 11th Assembly District. This is the district that I represent. Bill Amon has the other half of the General Assembly duties in South Windsor. So I always tell people that Bill has the better half of South Windsor, but I have the best. So welcome. I also tell people when I travel around the state of Connecticut that the 11th Assembly District is the garden spot of Connecticut, where the sun rises first, reaches down, kisses our Capitol dome, and spreads warmth and sunshine and vitality around this whole great state. I also understand from talking to Senator Lobo that some of you were in my old alma mater, St. Rose School. Is that true? Is that true? Show of hands, who's at St. Rose? See? That's wonderful. Now, my name is not written on any walls over there, is it? It's been 35 or 40 years since I've been there. But welcome. As Gary mentioned, you're right in our neighborhood. This is a tremendous, tremendous facility. Thank all of the professionals who work here, all of the professionals who put this program together. This is a beautiful school. And the beauty of this school isn't made up in the bricks and the marble. It's made up in the beautiful children who are going to get an education here. And as many have said, I hope you appreciate it. I hope you take advantage of every single opportunity here. And many of you youngsters, as you matriculate through this environment, by the time you move on to the next grade, the technology is going to change. And you've got to stay ahead of that. And you've got to help us. You've got to continue to make this a great country and a great world. Have a great school year, and all the best to all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Douglas, Senator Lobo, Representative Larson. for all those great words of encouragement and walk down memory lane. Next, let's welcome to the podium the very proud principal of the International Magnet School, Miss Cindy Wrigley.
Good afternoon and welcome to our new home. As you have all heard, our forever home at the CREC International Magnet School. Thank you all so much for taking the time to be here this afternoon to celebrate this pivotal moment in what I am sure will be a very long history for the International Magnet School. This achievement would not have been possible without every one of you sitting here. When asked to say a few words at today's ceremony, as an inquirer, I took the opportunity to learn about the tradition of ribbon cuttings, their purpose and their symbolism. Since the 19th century, the tradition of cutting a ribbon has been a part of wedding ceremonies to symbolize a new beginning. The two ends were meant to come together to signify a strong union. Cutting the ribbon symbolizes the ability to overcome challenges, a commitment to new partnerships, and a fresh start. For the past few years, the International Magnet School has operated out of two separate buildings. Our teachers traveled to collaborate. Our families had children in two locations, and our students were taught all content areas within a single classroom. Throughout this, IMS students thrived, and families remained active, loyal, and committed to our community. As a team, we have tackled the challenges of growing a new school, developing infrastructure and curriculum, and pursuing and achieving authorization from the world-renowned International Baccalaureate Organization. This forever home is, in fact, a new beginning. I'd like to personally thank our Executive Director, Dr. Bruce Douglas, Superintendent Dina Crowell, CREC's Cabinet, and the CREC Council for inviting me to be a part of this incredible journey. I have been fortunate to have the privilege to partner with our Assistant Principal, Ms. Nuet Tin, to build the IMS team. Nuet, can you please stand? Ms. Tin's calm leadership style, her deep understanding of pedagogy, and her wry sense of humor have enriched IMS and have been invaluable to me. And in my 25 years of education, I have never worked with a more talented, intelligent, and passionate group of educators. The IMS team's unwavering commitment to our students and families has made the International Magnet School a very special place. I'd like to thank our families for their patience and the enduring support and trust in both CREC and IMS. Our parents are truly our most valuable partners. And on a very personal note, I'd like to thank my husband, Christopher, and my daughter, Lillian, for their understanding, patience, and love. It is because of CREC's vision that every IMS student will have the access to high-quality educational resources so they may achieve at their maximum potential. And the talent of the construction division and project manager David Fresk, the tireless work of Bob Dwyer and Scott Bartlett at Cutter Enterprises, and the creativity of our architects at Perkins and Eastman came together to bring this building to life. In the spirit of the traditional ribbon cutting, this new building marks a renewed commitment to our students and families as we unite in one building as one IMS family. I am so grateful to the town of South Windsor. They have warmly welcomed the International Magnet School into the community, and I look forward to ongoing partnerships and welcome opportunities to work together to best serve our children and families. And most importantly, our beautiful students. It has been a joy to experience their growth both academically and personally at IMS. I have had the pleasure of watching them grow into people who take action to make their school, their community, and this world a better place. This is one of the hallmarks of an international baccalaureate education. And I am proud of the work of each and every student, and so grateful for our families that have fortified a culture that holistically supports the success of every child. As we sit here today, please take a moment to reflect. Consider the opportunities that this beautiful building will provide to students throughout the Capital Region, both now and in years to come. Our students are as engaged and excited about learning as ever, but in just the 2 short weeks that we have been here, they have embraced their new environment and are already finding innovative ways to use their new resources. Though I can only imagine what each of their futures hold, I am confident that they will be bright and that the best is yet to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rigling. Our next speaker represents the CREC Council. CREC Council is the governing body of the Capital Region Education Council, and he is a big fan of the International Magnet School as well. Please welcome Mr. Christopher Wilson.
Thank you. You know, it's kind of funny. We opened 2 schools in Bristol in 2012, and I will assure you they weren't quite as formal as this, so I didn't bring any formal remarks for you, but I certainly want to let you know that the CREC Council wholly supports the mission of Chef and the mission of this school. And I have a little vested interest. My daughter happens to teach here, Krista Zaldivar, and my granddaughter goes to school here, Gianna, so I have to give a little shout out to those 2. But I think those of us that have been involved in building schools often think that the building of the school is probably the easy part. The big challenge is develop that culture, which Cindy has certainly fortified already in her other locations back and forth. But that's the real challenge, to build the traditions, to build the thirst of learning, to build the passion, and to build what education really ought to be about, the inquisitiveness. I know in education today we spend a lot of time talking about testing and scores and how we compare to districts and how we compare to the world and every other. But really, I think what education is for our leaders to give those students, those children, that passion, that learning, that inquisitiveness that's going to carry them on for their further life. So it's my pleasure to bring the warm welcome of the council and want you to know that we fully support this endeavor and the Chef O'Neill endeavor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris. So we've said a lot about the warm welcome we've received from the residents of South Windsor. I think it's only fair we give South Windsor the chance to talk to us. So let's welcome Elizabeth Pendleton, Councilwoman for South Windsor.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here on behalf of Mayor Anwar and the town councilors of South Windsor. Welcome to my neighborhood, children. I grew up 1 street away and I went to school 1 street away, and I used to walk through these woods. And just standing here, or sitting here listening to the professionals that had this school built for you, their pioneering adventure, their vision, their passion is outstanding for me to hear of all that they've gone through. The family to work with them that own the property, to the engineers, to the teachers, who I thank very much. Most importantly, I thank the children. I feel special walking into your school. This is my first time here. This is a gorgeous school. I felt special as a resident, and I know you guys have to feel special every day. Your teachers are very special and very important. We look forward to working with CREC. It's our pleasure to have worked with CREC, with working with the fields, and our sports clubs can come and play on the fields. I'd like to thank the town staff also for working with the CREC family to get the building built here. And I also had the pleasure today to meet the future mayor of South Windsor. His name is David, and he's in 1st grade. And when I heard he was the mayor, I naturally had to introduce myself because I don't recall working with him. But it was my pleasure to meet him, and I know someday that he will be a mayor somewhere. And I know all of you will succeed and have wonderful lives because you have a great starting point in your life. Thank you for joining our town and our family of South Windsor, families, parents, and children and teachers. Thank you.
Well, the folks from South Windsor, just please stand for a moment. Everyone who's from South Windsor who's here today. Very good. Thank you so much. Our final speaker, yes, I said final. Our final speaker today is a very important person at CREC. Her name is Miss Dina Crowell, and she is the superintendent of CREC schools. Every other day, Mrs. Crowell is busy making sure that our students are making great strides into becoming successful citizens. But today, she has come with words to share and also to introduce the most important group of people here this afternoon. Mrs. Crowell.
Thank you, Sandy. So today, we are at the end of one road and the beginning of another. We are finished for the time being with the bricks and the mortar, and now it is time to bring life to this school. The school will be filled with students, each one of whom have different dreams, different abilities, and different ideas. That's what makes this event so exciting. By opening this school, we're changing the future. Every student at IMS has the potential to achieve greatness. It is so great to see so many of you here today. I would like to thank the members of the International Magnet School for Global Citizenship community, including the leadership, the teachers, the parents, for collectively making this school a place where children could be proud to attend. All of our efforts are for the children, and seeing them here today grounds us to remember why we're all here. We are here to provide high-quality, integrated education for the students of this school. We thank you for celebrating this new beginning for IMS, and this celebration symbolizes a new day for new opportunities for staff, students, and families. For each of our schools, we have a vision of creating a building that is worthy of educating the students that attend here. The innovative design in this school will enhance teaching and learning and will encourage exploration, critical thinking, and problem solving. Many thanks to the architects who designed a space that exceeded our vision, and to the construction team who transformed our vision into this beautiful new building we see here today. We also want to thank the CREC Council, the superintendents, and the Board of Education in this effort, who have been with us in this effort for a long time. We always are compelled to recognize Elizabeth Horton Chef, the original chef plaintiffs in the state of Connecticut, and our legislators for believing in high-quality integrated education in this region. We are particularly thankful for the town of South Windsor, which we've heard many times today, but we know that this is a good thing for South Windsor, this is a good thing for CREC, and this is the best thing for the children that are here today. Together, we send a very strong message about why we are here and why it's important. I would also like to extend my gratitude to the CREC family. For almost 50 years, CREC has worked very hard to actualize its mission of serving the best interests of children and families. There are hundreds of people that are not here today that work very hard every day for the children and family and staff we have with us, ensuring that everyone can have access to high-quality education. At CREC, we accept this responsibility of educating each and every child that enters all of our schools and programs, and we take this responsibility very seriously. That is why we work relentlessly towards the effort of closing the achievement gap and ensuring that all children are achieving at their highest level. A famous leader once said, "Education is our passport to the future. For tomorrow belongs to the people who prepare it today." We want to thank you for partnering with us in this endeavor and for being part of today and making tomorrow even better. So thank you. At this time, I'd like to introduce 4th and 5th graders from IMS who will entertain us with a song titled "Sing for Peace." Boys and girls.
Sing for
A big thank you to Ms. Abate for her good work, and to the students. Let's give them another round of applause. There you go. Okay. The speeches are over. No more speeches. Let us get to the business of cutting the ribbon. I'm going to ask our special guests to come forward with the students and the principal and the superintendent to cut the ribbon. So Mr. Wilson, Ms. Pendleton, Representative Larson, Senator Lobo, if you could come forward. I think while folks get all together up here, we've just heard that it's Mrs. Pendleton's birthday. Yes. I think we should sing a round of happy birthday for her. Don't you think? Absolutely. Who can lead us? Can you lead us? Thank you. How about we just say a big shout of happy birthday, Councilwoman Pendleton. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday, Councilwoman Pendleton.
Thank you. Your present. This is a wonderful present.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Have a wonderful evening and drive home safely.